Hi, this is Magda from Wnętrza Zewnętrza. This time, we'll take a look together at a 100 square meter house whose owners discovered their love of color while decorating it. Even during the renovation stage, when choosing doors or windows, they opted for more universal, so-called safe colors, but when it came to choosing built-in cabinetry or interior doors, they really let their colorful ideas run wild. How did it turn out? You'll see soon.
Hi, I'm Zuza, and in our colorful house I live with my husband Michał, our son Ludwig, and our Bernese mountain dog. When we were building our house, we only then discovered how much fun you can have decorating interiors, and that's why in every room of our home you can see playful shapes, colors, and various themes. Not everything is finished yet. Building and decorating a house is really a long process, and you don't have to take it too seriously or stress about having everything done right now, immediately, at once. I hope that our colorful interiors will inspire at least some of you to be bold and to have fun with shapes and colors.
We start, as usual, at the entrance, and here on the right are those wide doors leading to the boiler room. On the other side, we have a place to put down our keys. You can see that they're lying on a picture frame shelf, but it's wide enough that it can easily be used to store other items as well, like home fragrances. On this side, there are two hooks, one shaped like a branch for bags and a shoehorn, and the other one for clothing. It also has a bench and shelves for shoes. Meanwhile, on the other side of the wall, we have small decorative mirrors that can also serve as hooks. They are set away from the wall, and here behind them you can conveniently hang a hanger. When we come back with a suit from the dry cleaner, we don't have to wonder what to do with it. We can just conveniently hang it here. Of course, this isn't the main use, but it's nice when things at home can serve different purposes. The entrance is in the middle of the outer wall, which actually divides the house into two halves. Behind me, there's a hallway with doors to individual rooms, which serves only as a passageway. There is no furniture here, yet it doesn't feel empty. The atmosphere of this place is created by the colorful doors. Look at how great they look. And here we have the bathrooms. Further on, there's a guest room, which is currently changing its function and will become a children's room. Here's the bathroom, then the bedroom, the children's room, and at the end, the laundry room. In the second half of the house, most of the space is an open-plan living room and kitchen area. There's a gray sofa in the living room. It's a sofa with a chaise, or what some people would call a sectional, and there's also an ottoman that is placed here. And together we have a large lounge set. In the future, the sofa will probably be placed closer here, so that another piece of furniture, like a display cabinet, could stand against the wall behind it. However, at the moment that wouldn't work, because there's usually a playmat for the child spread out here in the middle. Since another little one will be joining the family soon, this situation will definitely last a while longer. There's a large collage by Monica Delic hanging on the wall behind the sofa. This format works great in interiors. It looks good even on a large wall. With small pictures, the proportions are usually a bit off. And it's not surprising that the artist of this piece decided on one so well suited to the interior. It's not surprising, given the interior. This armchair is an IKEA classic. It's over 20 years old, and it's the Luna model, which was recently reintroduced to stores, but under a different name. I often show you the trim that hides the curtain track in my videos. And this time, I'd like to show you that such a strip isn't necessarily essential. Because here, we have the curtain clips attached low enough on the fabric so that the curtain reaches the ceiling and covers the rail. And it also looks really neat. Initially, the kitchen was supposed to be in a muted dark blue color, kind of like the one behind me on the stage. However, after visiting the carpenter and seeing the samples in person, the decision was made to go with a much more intense shade of blue. And that's how the whole adventure with colors in the house began. There is no pantry in the house. A cabinet in the kitchen was turned into one. And it's located here. Look, it's a whole tall cabinet deep, so it's really spacious too. We have a lot of drawers here. And down below, I'll show you something interesting. In the drawer, there are drawer organizers that I already showed you in the painter's apartment. Only there they had a white casing. Here they are black and work just as well. They are also in the drawer. What's nice is that when you look from above, you can immediately see what's inside. Next, we have the fridge, drawers, cabinets on top with shelves for glasses and mugs, and down here is a corner cabinet, one of two. The other one is here, and both are kidney-shaped. This one holds pots and pans, while the other one has oven-proof dishes and bowls. When planning the layout, the faucet, and planning its placement, we should take into account that the faucet is movable. And when you turn on the water, this part changes its position and takes up a bit more space. That's why in this spot by the windowsill, the faucet was hitting the windowsill when the water was turned on. We had to shape the windowsill a bit, which luckily, just like the countertop, is made of wood, so it wasn't a problem. Thanks to that, it doesn't hit anymore. Under the sink, there's a drawer for bins. Next to the sink is the dishwasher, and in between there was still enough space for a narrow 15-centimeter pull-out drawer, which wasn't in the original design, because the original dimensions called for a slightly smaller kitchen, and only after construction did it turn out that the cabinetry could be a little bit bigger. Much wider pull-out drawers are also on both sides of the oven. However, above the oven there is a cooktop, which is much wider than the standard 60-centimeter one. There are also 4 heating zones on it, but they can be much larger, and when using big pots and pans, we can simply have more freedom to move. That's why, if you have the space for it, it's worth considering this non-standard size. In an apartment kitchen, where every centimeter counts, there probably won't be space for it, but if you're building a house, it's worth keeping this solution in mind. And here at the end, we also have very wide drawers, the top one for cutlery and the lower ones for dishes. Probably in the future, open shelves for cookbooks will also appear by the range hood. However, for now, as long as there's enough space to cook on the cooktop, it's nice to have things out in the open because they give the kitchen a cozy, homey feel.
We want to make the best use of every space in our kitchen, so when the idea came up to put a cabinet on this side, we decided to use it as a mini bar. However, reality turned out a bit different, and our son took over that cabinet for himself, and now it serves as a storage space for Play-Doh, modeling clay, and other art supplies.
In the bedroom, your attention is immediately drawn to the geometric shapes painted on the wall and the cork, which doesn't look like the kind we know from school bulletin boards. Because it's not smooth, it has a subtle pattern that reminds me of burl veneer. The bed used to be white and had a simple headboard, but it was repainted black, and upholstered panels were attached to the headboard. A large built-in unit with open shelves and wardrobes for clothes appeared on this wall, and take a look at how they're organized inside. We have shelves, hangers, and drawers here, and notice that the drawers come in 2 different widths. To access the wider ones, we have to open 2 cabinet doors, while to open this drawer, it's enough to open just 1 door, so it's much quicker and sometimes more convenient. So it's worth taking this into account when planning your built-in furniture, especially where there's a bit less space. In my son's room, there's a gray wainscoting additionally enriched with colorful triangles. If you'd like to make a similar decoration at home, you don't have to buy large cans of paint because you'll only use a little, and what will you do with the rest? It would be a shame for it to go to waste. That's why it's better to use paint samples. Different brands offer various types of samples, sometimes in these foil packages, sometimes in tiny cans. And they're fantastic for these kinds of colorful experiments, painting shapes and patterns. Definitely these smaller packages are enough. It's more eco-friendly and economical. All upsides.
When we were furnishing our home, we mostly relied on furniture that has been with us for a very long time. For example, when we were decorating Ludwig's room, we used a dresser that came from my bedroom when I was a teenager. And we only changed the handles, which fit better in a 3-year-old's room.
These pieces of furniture also came from our previous apartment and got a second life here. They work great in a little child's room because the displayed toys are easily accessible and the top surface is at a height that's perfect for playing while standing. There are 3 types of tiles in the bathroom. On the floor, there are wood look tiles with a color similar to the panels in the other rooms. Here above the bathtub on the wall, there are large white rectangles. And in the shower and on the wall above the sink, there are small green rectangles arranged in a herringbone pattern. So that the shower hose doesn't hang by the bathtub, you can hide it just like here. I came across this solution on an interior design forum, and a lot of people really praised it. It works well here, and the bathroom is already 2 years old. However, I also came across comments that for some people, water would flow through here and collect under the bathtub, which didn't end well. However, I don't know why most of the time it's fine, but sometimes it isn't. If you have experience with this kind of solution, let me know, because I really would like to solve this mystery. Although there are also yellow accents in the powder room, like the door or accessories, the color scheme here is completely different than in the bathroom. Instead of green tiles, we have blue ones, and additionally, the built-in furniture is also in this color. The garden is only in its early stages, but vegetable beds have already appeared here. The season is already coming to an end, but we can still enjoy the sight of beautiful tomatoes. At the end of the plot, there is an on-site wastewater treatment system, and that's exactly why these 2 posts are here. You can plant various plants around them, not necessarily trees, but shrubs, grasses, ones with a weak root system are definitely fine, and then those posts won't be visible at all. And what's important is that the on-site wastewater treatment system is serviced about once a year, which costs around 100 to 200 zlotys, and that's it. Much more convenient than emptying a septic tank. The construction of this house started in 2020 and lasted a year. In 2021, the house was already inhabited. The costs of construction and finishing so far have not exceeded 400,000 zlotys. Getting the house to the weather-tight shell stage cost about 150,000 zlotys, so as you can see, finishing the interior actually turned out to be more expensive. To everyone looking for interior design inspiration, I highly recommend our album Polskie Wnętrza, which is full of great ideas from various apartments and houses. I'm saying goodbye, waiting for your thumbs up and comments. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, where you'll find plenty of interior design videos, over 200 videos including more than 100 home tours, so stay with us for longer. See you, bye.